So I think I could do a whole video series just doing doodle breeders. The hand scissor cut on the body of an authentic multi-generational Australian Labradoodle.
So I'm going to make a hand scissor cut guide all along the top of her body. And we're going to use her head as the base for the guide. But because her head goes down, we want to make sure that her hand's in the same position that her head is tilted.
Oh my god. Ah, ow, ow, ow. Your dog is literally like... Okay.
And then we're going to take this section right here. You may have to occasionally just brush it so it's nice and soft. Brush it sometimes when it looks like maybe you should brush it. Lift up this little section here. And we are going to match it to the guide that's in front, which is right here.
This is what I don't understand. It's like they come at us freaking sideways when we give them this perfect little teddy bear trim. They're like, nah, brah, hack. Like this. Hack, yo. That's what we like.
It makes a lot less work for the owner in brushing them. They don't have to brush through all that long hair.
She's just cutting off the dead hair, the stuff that's been sun bleached. There's no guide situation here. This also looks super time consuming for a very crappy haircut.
So if you see,
I just don't understand why people want like a clump of hair on their dog's back anyway. Like, what are you doing with that hair?
Continue that all the way to her tail.
And, you know, when you're brushing hair that has tangles in it and you're having these little jerky motions, maybe not have the scissors in your hand. She's like, brush, brush, with the scissor in her hand.
And that's going to be your guide for the rest.
I actually do like this brush though. It's not a bad brush. I can't tell what the scissors are. Just, if I see you with your, if you're doing...
Down the side here, her body's sloping down. Therefore, I want to pull the hair out, straight out from her body.
I thought she was cutting underneath of her fingers there for a second.
So when it falls, it looks very natural.
It didn't. There was such a harsh line and she knew it. She knew it. Oh, she knew. She's like, just tease it. Just tease it. See, she's just cutting off the color. She's pretending like she's saying something, but she's just cutting off the color.
Something. She's been molting for a couple months now, and underneath here, she doesn't have the same long hair. It's a lot shorter than...
That's not... See, she can't even tell. She's literally just cutting off color. Because that's not sun bleach, she's saying...
The slicker I'm using is a really nice, long bladed slicker. You want to be very careful that you don't slicker.
So they don't have blades on them. They're pins or tines. Tines are more combs. I call them tines sometimes, but pins.
The length of the hair that's already pretty much molted. We'll trim this just a little bit.
Your dog is not molting.
One thing that's really important when you're giving them a puppy cut is that you don't want to give them a cut that goes up with their stomach, because that ends up looking like a poodle. You want it to look like a teddy bear, where it's all one length. So
I'm kind of shook at their interpretation of like what's a poodle, because you know what? Poodles are very refined in their tuck up, but I would...
And you're gonna leave this back hair.
If she tried to call this a poodle in my presence. This is a now she's cutting underneath of her fingers, which is terrible. That's a quick recipe to cut the dog.
I will use this right here, this long hair underneath, as my guide when I'm cutting here, so I don't accidentally make an arch in her stomach. This is where you actually almost want to pull up. You want to use the longest part of the part that's below. You don't want to cut any shorter than that.
I mean, it's definitely a method. Like, she has a method. Is it a good one? No. Is it nice looking? Absolutely not. Is she doing a thing? Yes. It's less hair than she started with. The dog is not injured. I am a little injured psychologically now.
Looks real natural on her hip.
Here's the thing. In the time, like, it's been, what, 7 minutes? 7 minutes. I could have already clipped this dog's entire body. And it would look much more fitting to the dog. It would have a little bit of a tuck up, though, like...
And the reason why it's kind of nice, especially with younger puppies, to be holding the hair is when they do move. If you noticed, I was able to hold the hair and still cut.
I liked that face. I had to hold on to it. I just hate it. I hate it. The only thing I like about this is the fact that the dog hasn't been injured, because he's stressed too. He's like panting and he's standing at the edge of the table, and that's with someone there. So like,
the guide, but we want to make sure that we're cutting it out
not our fault. You know what it is? Here's the thing. Here's what people don't like to talk about. You ever been like, you know, gonna go on a roller coaster and you're like, your body's like, adrenaline starts to rush then, and you kind of like vibrate a little bit, and you like have to like move, you're like kind of standing around and dancing in line. It's because you kind of have to like do something with that. The dog knows it's gonna get groomed, it's stressed, its adrenaline's running, like it has to like shake it out, it has to vibrate a little bit, it has to, and they like to blame it on stress with us. But look at this is your breeder, this is your owner, and you're still tripping. Cause doodles be tripping, yo. I don't know what she's going for anymore.
Anywhere you're cutting, you want to make sure you're pulling the hair out from where the hair is growing from to cut. Otherwise, you're going to have a very uneven dog.
That's true. That's why we're always like combing it up to fluff it up, but you have to actually prep it first, and this, if anything, she like sneezed on the dog and brushed it out, because this is not good. It's not as sun bleached. There we go. There's where she made an improvement. It's not as sun bleached as it was before.
And then the same thing, pulling this kind of towards the back, using the guide. Elbow. I'm just doing a straight cut instead of going zigzagging in with her legs.
She's literally making the back leg as straight as possible. We haven't gotten to the head, we haven't gotten to the feet, we haven't gotten to the tails, and this video is going to be ending soon. And I have a feeling that we're not going to see it. Oh, it's done! And that is a good angle on a bad haircut. Congratulations on working your angles, girl.